Hi everyone, here's the Book Chemist once again. Today I'm reviewing Sag Harbor, one of Colson Whitehead's earlier novels and one I'd been meaning to read for a very long time. I absolutely loved Sag Harbor. I'm very happy I finally got round to it. This is a tale of summer escapades and summer boredom, of change, of a certain type of sadness that you're just about starting to suspect might never really go away. A true masterpiece, in other words, of adolescent fiction. In many ways, this is a very simple and very humble story. It follows Benji, the protagonist, on the summer of his 15th year, spent, like all these other summers so far, in the seaside resort town of Sag Harbor on Long Island. Benji is a nerdy kid who is testing out, trying to be a bit less nerdy, who is trying to get some distance from his previously inseparable little brother, Reggie, who is looking for his first job and who is trying to persuade people to call him Ben instead of Benji. Basically a teenager going through a phase of teenage reinvention. In many ways, Sag Harbor read like one of my beloved Goosebumps novels, R.L. Stine's horror books for children, with which I've been obsessed since the age of 9. It's the story of someone at the tail end of childhood who feels like something isn't right in the otherwise familiar world around them. As if something has changed, something is off. Alas, unlike in Goosebumps, the horrors here aren't the yucky kind. They're not gelatinous monsters. They're not preposterous werewolves. The horrors here are much harder to kill, be them the horrors of Ben's dysfunctional family, or the threats he faces as an African-American man in a society that often stigmatizes him. The ease with which the novel can switch from capturing moments of deep and indelible misery to its next punchline is just one aspect of Whitehead's virtuoso performance. The novel is full of very long, lyrical, intriguing reflections about the materials of Ben's childhood, about his favorite movies and his favorite music, about his personal obsessions. And these really give you an insight into his own psyche and offer you a vision on a certain slice of 1980s pop culture, whether Ben is discussing the alignment system in Dungeons and Dragons or the significance of hip-hop lyricism. A particularly long passage that I found truly beautiful is this very silly but very meaningful eulogy to TV dinners and other frozen delicacies. I didn't have the same brands as Ben growing up in Italy, but I was a big fan of frozen meals myself. And why not? They are the perfect teenage food. They offer you predictability and stability at a time when everything within you and without you is changing. And while they are, for all intents and purposes, baby food, they give you the feeling they masquerade as adult fare. If I have to put it in the oven in order to eat it, it means I'm basically cooking it just like a man. Perhaps the most astonishing feat about Sag Harbor is that while the novel is fairly brief, while something is always happening in it, and while it's quite addictive and engaging and entertaining, it somehow also captures very beautifully the feeling of boredom, that peculiar boredom of summer during childhood, when you have so much free time that you don't really know what to do with it, but at the same time you're always dreading September and the return to duty and responsibility that it entails. It's a very peculiar type of boredom and misery that I had not yet seen treated with such brilliancy and such complexity. Brilliancy? Brilliance? Who's to say? This is a fantastic novel. It's only deceptively simple. Even all of those reflections about D&D and hip-hop are actually much deeper than you might think when you start reading them. And Whitehead is a master when it comes to this. It reminds me very much of the Harlem trilogy of his, another series of books I've adored so far and where I'm really looking forward to reading the third installment in the series. These are books where you might be reading a long chapter that really just feels like a very long comic skit, and that's okay. And then you reach the final page and you get this reflection about the enigmas and the pain of existence that hits you like a ton of bricks. As you can tell from this rather gushing, rather confused review, I really recommend Sag Arbor. I think you should read it. I think you would love it. And it goes without saying, but it's actually the perfect summer book. Take it to the beach, take it to camp, take it to your alpine resort. I think it's a perfect summer read. I look forward to reading what you think of Sag Arbor if you've read it, and let me know if you will pick up the recommendation. I hope you will. And thanks for watching the review. Thanks especially to my patrons for supporting the YouTube channel. Bye, everybody.